One of the most oft-cited factors in stimulating the Bennington County economy, a lack of affordable housing and so-called workforce housing, housing priced in the mid-range of the market that middle-income families and individuals can afford, got a thoroughgoing review at a conference held at Bennington College on Friday, February 9th. The Southern Vermont Housing Summit, organized by the Southern Vermont Economy Project, part of the Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation, which has developed a collaboration between officials in both Windham and Bennington counties, brought together planning directors, housing specialists, select board members, and other officials from both the private and public sectors to discuss housing across the southern tier of Vermont and its relationship and importance to the broader economy of the region. Stephanie Lane of Shires Housing, a Bennington-based nonprofit organization that seeks to increase the supply of affordable and workforce housing, described some of their efforts and the roadblocks they were facing. Several statistics included in her presentation highlighted the difficulties.
Would you say that the majority of your tenants actually work and are not on it?
The majority of our tenants do work, yes.
Manchester's planning director, Janet Hurley, and planning commissioner Todd Nebraska, along with Manchester's economic development officer, Pauline Moore, also attended the conference and stressed the need for workforce housing in the Northshire area. This point was reinforced by Tyler Yandell, the planning director for Dorset.
Many people in Bennington County cannot afford to live where they work. And I was just curious, have you or has anybody else sort of taken a step towards addressing that situation?
Well, I think Manchester is one of those towns, definitely. And one of the steps that we've taken is to complete the East Branch Farms project, but we also have 36 units of affordable workforce housing in Manchester as well. And I think the town officials and zoning have worked very hard to make it possible for us to continue East Branch Farms and are very supportive of affordable housing in that area.
There is there's a real shortage of workforce housing in Dorset. Available rentals to start with are few and far between, and the rents are usually quite high. The need is absolutely there. Every morning there's a steady stream of cars with New York plates coming down Route 30, coming from Granville to work in Dorset, Manchester, and Arlington. So, it's a question of, I think, numbers. I think that, Manchester with a little bit more of a commercial base has a stronger need possibly than Dorset, but that doesn't mean that the need isn't there for us, because the town of Dorset does want economic development. We do want, companies to move to Dorset. We're always looking to see how we can grow our commercial base, which is right now quite small. And to do that, you need to have places for people to live.
The town of Manchester is nearing the end of a 2-year effort to overhaul zoning ordinances and districts, part of which is intended to encourage more workforce housing.
We've done a number of economic development studies. The most recent one was the NED study, and they all come to kind of the same conclusion that we need somewhere between, say, 300 and 600 workforce housing units in our community. That there's that immediate need for that. I will say that within our community we've been wrestling for our zoning ordinance purposes with what the definition of workforce housing should be. We understand that there's the traditional definition, or that allows you to get funding, which is 60 to 120% of median income. But more anecdotally, John O'Keefe, our town manager, always uses the example. He goes, if I'm an officer in our police department in town, and my wife is a teacher at MEMS, our elementary school, it's really difficult for them to find housing in our community. So, those two incomes put together certainly don't fall into that 120%. So we're actually, for the definition, again, this is Manchester and this is our community, but we're actually considering defining workforce housing in our zoning ordinance is even 200 to 250% of median, so that we can capture a lot of, our workforce in town.
Todd Nebraska said he thought the discussion today underscored the importance and accuracy of their effort.
So I think that all in all, the discussions we heard today and some of the challenges that were presented reinforces that we are on the right track with the proposed zoning changes.
You think that it will, in fact, encourage more workforce, affordable housing in Manchester in the downtown, or it'll have that incentive for developers to kind of explore that?
I think it will.
Finding ways to encourage private developers to build more affordable or workforce housing was one of the themes struck often by participants, who explored ways the state could also help. Right now, both would-be developers as well as homebuyers are stuck in a situation where much of the existing housing stock is aging and needs upgrades. But the cost of doing so, along with acquiring the property, makes the rent or mortgage costs out of reach for many families. The sweet spot has yet to be found. For the GNI TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.